Hello and welcome back to the Chelmsford News Show. I'm Tom Christiano. Well, the library director asked me to come by and shoot some video of the dedication that will take place today for the former library director, Becky Herrmann, who unfortunately passed away a few years ago. And so there's this beautiful mural here, as you can see here, and we'll be showing it more later. And a lot of people will be gathering here in a few minutes for this wonderful dedication of this beautiful mural. A lot of it is made out of wood, and I'll be interviewing the artist later. He's a great guy. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the show.
And so now we have this art. I don't think that it could be more Becky. It's colorful, it's energetic, it's inviting, and it's creative. It makes me think of her. I feel like it inspires us to find joy and beauty in the world and in each other. So I'm so pleased that it's here. I'm so pleased that you're all here. We'd like to say a few more things to all of you. And so next, I would love it if Chris, would you come up and say a few words? Chris Polson is the artist of Read, Learn, Grow, this beautiful piece. He also did a piece for the library, which is on the Carriage House, called Immersion, and hopefully you'll get to see that before you leave as well.
Recording in progress.
Hi. So I first met Becky, I believe, in 2016 when I was just starting out with artwork. I'm an architect by trade. I did some sculpture work at MassArt, but you know, I haven't practiced it much, and then I just started doing some things out of wood, very structural, and I did a gallery space up in the room upstairs where we had the reception, and you know, she was such a lovely person, very outgoing, very, you know, just generous with, you know, how, you know, she liked my artwork, and I knew that, you know, she was really into the whimsical things, and that's what I do. And then I just get a call out of the blue about a year later, and she said that they were doing this carriage house, and she wanted me to do a piece of art on there, and I was so touched that she thought of me. And so, you know, I think that was about 6 months of planning, and you know, just getting to know Becky was a privilege. And you know, we did that, and then I moved away, and then came back, and I learned that, you know, Becky passed away, and you know, I was really touched to be able to do this for Becky. I know that she really loved storybooks and whimsical, and while I was building this, you can't really see it, but it's in multiple parts, and I had it all on hinges, and it was in my garage, and it's taken up two of my bays, and so we have all the cars parked in the driveway for a couple months. But this thing was, I ended up folding it up, and I was just sitting in there doing some touch-ups, and it ended up looking like a storybook, like a pop-up storybook. And it was just that at the moment, I was like, oh, Becky would have loved this. just the whole idea, it just started to come together. You know, it was just, you know, the concept, I had it in my mind, but then I was like, it was just such a big project. And I felt like at that moment, you know, I could definitely see, I could feel the spirit, I could feel it coming through me. And so, you know, I would, you know, just talk to her and, you know, be like, you know, when I was painting, and, you know, just, it was really a lot of fun. And again, I feel touched to be able to do this project. Thank you. And I think, you know, a friend of mine said on Facebook when I posted it on there, she's a mutual friend, she said Becky would have loved this. She would have just totally miss. And then that's what I'm really doing. Thank you.
So Becky, of course, worked extremely closely with our president of the Friends of the Library, who had, a very lame excuse of having a new grandchild and not able to be here today. But Becky is going to read some words from Maureen. This is Maureen Foley, as she said, president of the Friends of the Library and a longtime employee here at the library. Once upon a time, I was the head of the children's department while Becky was the director. Since retiring, I've been actively involved with the Friends of the Library and enjoyed working with Becky as the president of that organization. Although I wish I could be present today to celebrate Becky's time leading this library and see her family again, I know that she would accept my excuse. I have a new grandson, so I traveled to North Carolina to help my daughter with her first baby. Becky adored her grandchildren and always had pictures to share. She started her career as a children's librarian, and I know she cherished that time. She encouraged and supported and mentored me when I was her children's librarian, and that's how I thought of myself during the 15 years I was the head of the department with her as my boss. By that I mean I strove for excellence, ingenuity, excitement, hilarity, and compassion. That's how she ran the whole library, and I tried to catch up. I loved being able to work for a boss who modeled those things. She loved leading story times. She had a great singing voice, terrific facial expressions, and loved sharing stories. She never tired of enthusiastically explaining why she thought I would love a book as much as she had. Becky was such an excellent writer that I was often intimidated when she asked me to write something. I often asked for her help. When she talked to me about recipes, she assumed I had her talent. Perhaps she never realized just how talented she was as a chef and gardener. She also loved music and gave me mixtapes. I used to play them because I loved her selections, but now I find myself playing them when I am preparing food for guests. I remember her and she inspires me. Since I live in Chelmsford, I am at the library often. I will continue to be delighted by this art installation and will think of Becky each time I see it. Thanks for being Maureen. Michael, would you like to say a few words? Michael Herrmann. Do I need to say who you are?
So,
Since you share less.
yeah, I was Becky's loving husband, and I'm not speaking for the family, but I'm speaking as a member of a large and loving family that's here gathered today to help honor Becky. She loved this place. When she got here in 2001, I want to say, it was a new facility, and they weren't even sure if they could put art up on the walls. It was a blank canvas, and she turned the entire library into a work of art with a team of rebels and visionaries. And if they didn't start out as rebels and visionaries, she'd turn them into that. Just a consummate library professional. She loved this place. She drove an hour to get here every day, and she drove an hour to go home, so I can sympathize. But she loved it, and she built a great team here. She loved everybody here. Chelmsford was like a second home. And I loved joining her here for parties. She introduced blues and jazz, all kinds of arts, music, parties, so many parties. It was just wonderful. Just standing here talking about her right now, I'm just filled with the love that I've always felt for her. And I know she would want me to express her love to all of you. Thank you for putting this beautiful piece of art together. It's a great memorial for Becky, and I know she would love it. And I'd just like to also thank everybody for coming here today to celebrate her life and to celebrate a continuing beautiful, wonderful library in Chelmsford. Thank you.
And I would like to invite I'm getting a signal. I would like to invite Maggie Marshall from the Library Board of Trustees. I got to be in charge of something. Maggie Marshall, Board of Library Trustees, and a librarian extraordinaire herself.
Thank you all for coming. Becky and I first met in the late 80s or early 90s when she was children's librarian in Bedford, New Hampshire, and I was the library director in Merrimack, adjacent towns. Since there was no state aid to libraries, the level of cooperation and collaboration between local libraries was extremely high, and we all supported each other. I left Merrimack in 1993 to start a family, and Becky eventually moved on to become the director of the Hopkinton, New Hampshire Public Library. I began as a Chelmsford Library trustee in 1996, so was on the search committee for a new library director several years later when Mary Mahoney retired. Becky was one of the applicants, rose to the top of the pile, and the rest is history. My only reservation about hiring Becky centered around the fact that in Hopkinton, she had been essentially a one-woman show, doing everything from ordering books, programming, fixing maintenance emergencies, and a bit of everything else. My concern was whether she would be able to accept and embrace the fact that she had an extremely competent staff with a lot of depth and expertise, and she would no longer have to be so hands-on. I am happy to admit that I could not have been more wrong. From the beginning, Becky abdicated the appropriate amount of responsibility to her department heads and was able to focus on the much bigger picture. Becky was a team player in every way, including having a great working relationship with the town manager and other town department heads, and being active in MBLC and serving in leadership roles within that group. For me, my greatest source of admiration for the job Becky did was her nurturing of the staff and giving them ways to grow. Department head roles were fluid. Whenever one of these positions became open, Becky and her staff examined the position, and fellow department heads were encouraged to adapt their roles if they wanted to take on a new component in their job to keep themselves fresh and growing. Becky was an innovator and initiated the Monday Night Book Group years before book groups became the thing they are today. She was also the co-creator, along with former employee Barbara Morrison, of Bibliobites, our own long-standing cookbook book group. The library now has at least 8 book groups led by various staff members. 2 of Becky's other big achievements were the party the library hosted for many years, Michael's favorite, during winter weekend, and One Book Chelmsford, which has united local readers for almost 20 years. Becky was a big picture person and led the staff and trustees through COVID with courage and compassion. She worked tirelessly to keep her staff employed from home and utilized technology to its fullest extent to keep not only the staff, but also the community connected. Years before Becky became sick, she was interested in succession planning and hired younger staff with potential leadership potential. This vision, along with strong support from town leadership, a seasoned and cohesive board of library trustees and associate board, an unparalleled friends group, and staff that has been nurtured and given ways to grow within their current positions, has ensured that Becky's legacy at the Chelmsford Public Library will be honored for years to come.
Again, thank you so much, everybody, for coming. We're excited to share this artwork with all of you, with the community, and we hope that you will be back often to enjoy it in the courtyard. And please continue to enjoy the wonderful food and spend time here in the courtyard. We're thrilled that you're here. Thank you.
Hi there, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. We're so glad to have you here today. My name is Lesley Kimball. I'm the library director, and we're here to celebrate Becky Herrmann, our longtime library director and leader of this beautiful library that serves the community. We're here to dedicate this beautiful piece of art called Read, Learn, Grow by the artist Christopher Polson, who also created a beautiful piece at Becky's request that's on our carriage house. So I hope you'll be able to see that as well while you're here. This piece of art really represents the really special things about Becky, her creativity, her love of gardening, how colorful it is, how whimsical. We think it's a beautiful testament to everything she gave to the library and the community. So we're so glad that you're here to join us in this celebration.
And do the butterflies mean anything, Lesley?
The butterflies,
Symbolize?
they do. They symbolize growth. The way that butterflies, of course, we know they start as caterpillars, the chrysalis, and then they grow. We see that they're free.
Yeah.
We can see them moving. And they're tied to flowers and gardens, which was a great love of Becky and a great talent of
And the
hers.
artist, could you mention his name again, please? I know he spoke later on the video.
Absolutely. So Christopher Polson.
Christopher Polson.
Is the artist, and he's created several works for the library, and we're very honored to be able to have his artistic vision.
This is amazing too, because this is actually cut out of wood, right, Lesley?
Yeah.
Do you know how long it might have taken him to make
It
this?
took months.
Months, many months.
Literally months. Things are laser cut on huge woodworking laser cuts, and of course there was the whole design phase where he was working with myself and the Board of Library Trustees to talk about what makes Becky so special. What are the things? And she was a children's librarian, so coming at this beautiful fairy tale setting, and the Read, Learn, Grow, the name of the piece,
Read, Learn, and
speaks
Grow.
to everything that she was passionate about. So we just
Wow.
feel like this really captures
Well,
her
this is
spirit.
It's amazing, and the artist is wonderful, and he's an architect as well.
Yes.
I don't know how he found the time to do this.
Well, as
And-
I said, it took a long time, and we appreciate it.
And his colors too, he chose the right colors, very bright, and it just lights up the whole area. And by the way, I don't know if we mentioned, you could get to this by walking to the downstairs in the library, and then there's some doors next to the offices for the director like you. There's some doors that come out here. Could people come out here and have lunch when the library's open?
Yeah, we have some little tables with umbrellas that usually sit here, and so people are welcome. We have people who come and sit. They might work on their laptop. Sometimes we have tutors come out here with students and sit and work together. It's a beautiful, peaceful spot.
It is.
Yeah, we're very fortunate.
I very seldom have come back here. Now I'll come here often. Maybe I'll come here and have lunch.
There you go. We
And
would love to have you.
Thank you so much. How long have you been a director now, Lizzie? I forgot, just quickly.
Sure. I've been the director since March of 2023. So what is that, 2 years? Just about 2 years.
A little over 2 years, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
we already did a TV show, though. I mean, remember you and I?
Yes, I remember. It was a nice
Nice.
conversation.
Yeah, and you're a big reader too, as I recall, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Which is great for a
loves to read. Yep.
Library director. Same with Becky and her mother. Her 90-year-old mother reads so much, and she catalogs everything.
Yep.
But thank you so much, Lesley, for being on the show and for hosting this wonderful event and dedication. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.